This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Hey, good morning. Happy Tuesday to you. Oh, yesterday, I thought it was super chilly. Today, not as chilly, but still chilly. And I think that's just how we're going to describe all the weather. Chilly.
I still broke up the ski park. Thank you.
Oh my goodness.
Just
I know.
I said the trip to, where'd you say?
I said Aspen.
There you go. We're going.
Yeah. I said, what are you doing here?
Field
You're
trip.
dressed for Aspen. And then I had to feel it. It's one of those like soft ones.
And then Tawana's like, if you think this is cold,
just wait. Just
it.
wait. We have colder air coming our way, and then we're all going to be busting out the parkas soon. I feel like if we wear them too often, though, they may summon Brian Good, and then they may end up being snow in the forecast. So maybe we should hold off on it. For those of you heading out this morning, though, we're sitting in the 50s, so we are warmer, and part of the reason for that is that we have more of that southwesterly wind in play this morning. Typically, when we have that type of wind direction, we see warmer temperatures. On top of that, we're also watching some clouds overhead, and these clouds are moving through along with a cold front. Most of the rainfall with this cold front, though, has been in areas off towards our northeast. As we continue throughout the early morning hours, I'll watch for a few showers that could try to pop as the front moves through, but overall, most of us just going to start off with some of these clouds overhead, a lot more sunshine for later on this afternoon as we return to the 60s for your highs. So the jacket, the sunglasses, very helpful for today. But it's also an updo kind of day because we are going to see the stronger wind gusts for later on this afternoon with some of those gusts near 30 to 35 miles per hour possible. Once we head into later on tonight, though, that wind will relax and you'll see more of those gusty winds showing up for tomorrow. Rob.
Okay, Tawana, thanks so much. Keeping an eye on the traffic around the metro. At 7:02, good morning to you. No major crashes to talk about this morning. The green means a good sign for us out there this morning. We are seeing just a little bit of red back up at 265 and 150, not far from Fern Creek. Don't know exactly what that is. No reports of any kind of crashes in that area, but that may give you a bit of a slowdown. Otherwise, things looking pretty good for your commute. If anything changes, we will certainly let you know. Ladies, back over to you for now.
Rob, thank you. And breaking this morning, we've learned the name of a woman accused of causing a deadly crash in the Algonquin neighborhood. Ariel Taylor is charged with vehicular homicide when under the influence of drugs. Police say she was driving a pickup that ran a stop sign and hit a Mustang at the intersection of Lee Street and McCloskey Avenue. The driver of the Mustang died. His name has not been released. Taylor is expected to be in court at 9 o'clock this morning.
A woman accused of shooting and killing two men in Okolona is set to appear in court today. Jasmine Brown is charged with complicity to murder and receiving a stolen gun. The shooting happened at the Falcon Crest Apartments on Napa Valley Court in September. Police say two young men were shot and killed. Witnesses told LMPD they saw multiple people walk away from the complex. We're working to learn more about the two men killed. Brown will be in court this morning at 9.
We've learned new details about a crash involving a Metro ambulance scraping the side of a downtown Louisville school. LMPD tells us officers got a call just before 5 o'clock on Monday to head to First and Ali right by the Brown School. Police say an ambulance crew had its lights and sirens on to take a patient to get care when they turned and collided with a Nissan. The force caused the ambulance to hit the school building. One of the two EMS workers and the patient inside had to be checked out and taken to the hospital. We also learned a passenger in the Nissan and someone on the sidewalk was also hit. JCPS says no students or staff were hurt. Police say everyone who was hurt is expected to survive.
A judge is raising the bond for one of the Louisville men accused of killing his own brother. Police say Daryl Burnett and Kiara Page shot their brother, Daryl Burnett Jr., at an apartment complex on Brentlinger Park Drive Sunday morning. Investigators say security video shows the three brothers fighting before the shooting. Police say Page shot the victim in the leg and Burnett shot him in the head. Burnett is charged with murder. Page is charged with assault. Both are expected back in court next week.
New video obtained by the Way troubleshooters shows the police operation that caught two people now charged in a scam to steal millions of dollars in gold bars. Take a look at this video from police. Federal investigators brought Antonio Pena and Brandy Durst to Louisville to face federal wire fraud and money laundering charges. They pleaded not guilty, but police say they were caught working together this summer. A sheriff's office in Washington state set up the sting with the FBI as they were investigating an older couple's $1 million loss.
Go get the Prius. I'm smashing the window.
Hold on.
Court records from Washington show Durst had picked up $900,000 in gold coins from a couple. Convinced they had been hacked, they didn't realize Durst was part of the scheme. Police used the couple's prior losses to set up the sting. They tailed the Prius Durst was driving and later arrested Pena when he saw police and ran. Police say they tracked Pena using rental cars in Louisville and Chicago to make previous gold bar pickups. Pena and Durst trials are supposed to start early next year.
If you struggled to use some websites or other services on Monday, you're not alone. Millions of internet users were left in the dark with a number of websites and apps unavailable because of an issue with Amazon Web Services, or AWS.
The internet-based cloud service hosts many of the world's most used online services and connects people and businesses. Rob Wells is back with a look at the trickle-down effects. Rob?
Olivia, good morning. Banking and payment apps like Venmo, online games including Fortnite, social media platforms such as Snapchat and Facebook, and Amazon linked smart devices and homes were all affected in that massive internet outage. Disney Plus and Hulu reported issues as well. Delta and United Airlines were also impacted. The outage blamed on an issue with Amazon Web Services, or AWS. Now, by Monday afternoon, Amazon said its systems were mostly back online. One expert says that the financial impact of the outage could total some hundreds of billions of dollars.
We've designed everything to work with this constant connectivity. And when you pull that big plug, everything basically becomes dumb.
And problems were first reported overnight and persisted for several hours before the problem was thought to be fixed. But issues with some delays, they still persist. An update on the AWS Health Dashboard says that the root cause of the outage is currently unknown. Shannon, back over to you.
Thank you. So we've been talking about this multi-year highway project. It's still in the early stages, but the I-65 Central Corridor plan will impact Louisville traffic.
And many drivers and neighbors say they still have big concerns. City leaders spent Monday evening trying to calm those nerves at a town hall. Leaders in charge of the I-65 corridor project say they understand the construction will be inconvenient for some, but they've tried their hardest to minimize the impact. The project involves work on 9 different bridges that should be done by 2027. Some work has already started with minimal impact to I-65 traffic, but come summer 2026, a 5-mile stretch of the highway will be completely shut down, forcing traffic to take detours through neighborhoods. Some neighbors at the meeting say they can't just avoid the areas because they either live or work around them.
When the announcements for the closures came, I didn't even know about it. So I'm really not happy about that. So when people call me and ask me things that are going, I look stupid because I don't know, because I heard on Facebook just like everybody else.
Leaders say they're committed to letting people know about traffic impacts before they happen. Right now, it's still not clear if they'll hold another community input meeting. You can find more information about the project on our website, wave3.com.
Next year, the country will celebrate its 250th birthday.
After the break, we'll explain how Disney is planning to celebrate, including a televised fireworks show. Also, when you think of Halloween, you probably think of ghosts, skeletons, maybe even bats.
Oh, yeah.
And this week you have a chance to learn about the different live bat species.
Second Chances Wildlife Center is hosting their annual Kentucky Bat Festival this Friday. It raises money so they can continue providing wildlife rehab for injured or displaced animals. And Wave News reporter Kirsten Foote is at the Wildlife Center and has a preview.
Here at Second Chances Wildlife Center, where they're rehabbing so many animals, including bats, giving them literally a second chance at life. And I'm here with Bridget, and tell me a little bit who we have here in the enclosure here.
Sure. This is one of my favorite bats. This is a tree-dwelling bat. So these guys aren't living in caves; they're living in barks of trees. This is a silver-haired bat.
Gotcha. And so what does he look like here? And so you guys have multiple rooms with these bats, and these ones here, they're staying here. These ones are here.
This room does have all of our licensed non-releasable bats, and just outside of this little doorway are the bats that come and go, hopefully to be releasable. So we do keep them separate, just to err on the safe side. You know, we have a nice little quarantine space when animals come in.
Absolutely. Oh, look at
He is
Hi,
this
little guy.
morning.
Does he have a name?
He does not have a name.
Oh, that's okay.
So we do name the animals that stay with us forever. We do not name the ones that get released.
Yeah.
I don't know how he. We should.
Oh my
we
gosh.
should.
Hi, little guy.
So he's a silver-haired bat. Look at this. A lot of ladies will pay for these highlights.
Oh,
And he has them naturally.
Oh, he's like, I got the good stuff. So big yawn. Look at that. Look at that. Oh my gosh. So he is going to be, he and maybe his other friends, they'll be on display or in attendance on Friday at the annual Kentucky Bat Festival. Tell me about the event.
Yes, it's going to be family fun for everyone. Our tickets are very affordable, so people can come out. It is an important fundraiser to us, though. We are not government funded. It is community supported, but we will have live music there by Dean Heckel. He's amazing if you all have not heard him. We will have a silent auction. We have some craft vendors, an activity for kids. We have several educational tables, including interactive educational tables. And we have a bat biologist there that will be talking and showing some materials that are out in the field.
That's awesome. And so where and when is the event happening?
This Friday from 6 to 9 at Louisville Slugger Stadium. And you can get your tickets on Eventbrite, on our website, or our Facebook page.
Perfect. See, bats are not spooky at all. Why are they associated with Halloween? I'm wondering why they're associated with Halloween, because they're just little cuties.
Misconceptions and myths on diseases they carry, which is not true at all. So we're hoping to dispel some of these myths and give people an opportunity to learn their importance and see them up close.
Absolutely. I love it. Oh, bye, little guy. I'll let you get some sleep. Yeah. Back to you.
They are just so cute. I want one of them.
You want a bat?
Well, hey, did you see how small that bat was compared to
I know.
Like
Yeah.
teeny tiny.
And then the big yawn.
The big yawn, which we all said collectively, big yawn.
And then Tawana yawned.
And then I yawned, yes, because apparently I'm also empathetic to bats along with people,
Right.
which I honestly don't think that's a bad thing. For anybody heading out this morning, I think the bats are going to bed as we are waking up. We are seeing a front moving through our region right now, and it's bringing some extra clouds across our area in terms of any rainfall that has mainly been up towards the Cincinnati area and north, but we're going to keep an eye on a couple isolated showers that could pop between now and sunrise. But most of us just seeing the clouds to start off the day, patiently waiting for some of that sunlight to come up over the horizon. If you look very closely at the horizon, you see a little bit of that showing up there with the clouds up above. Now, temperatures are on the warmer side this morning, sitting in the 50s for everyone. The reason that we're warmer, one, because we have the clouds overhead, and two, we have a southwesterly wind in play as that front is making its way into our region. Now, while the wind is light right now, less than 10 miles per hour in most locations, once we get into later on this afternoon, this is when we can see some of those wind gusts between 25 and 35 miles per hour. So a windy afternoon, but still overall pretty pleasant afternoon. We're going to get rid of those clouds pretty early this morning, leaving behind all of that sunshine for later on today. Now for tonight, keeping our skies mainly clear, and this will allow your temperatures to fall down into the 30s and the low 40s. For tomorrow, things are certainly going to be on the cooler side. We're going to keep some of those wind gusts near 30 miles per hour, but behind the front, we're only talking about highs in the upper 50s and low 60s. So really going to be dealing with some chilly temperatures for the middle and end of the work week. Notice your highs don't warm up a whole lot between Wednesday and Saturday. Now we will see plenty of sunshine for Thursday and Friday, but we'll also have to keep an eye on the clearer skies, leading to a little bit of some frost. And that does look to be a bit more likely come Friday morning, when more of us are sitting in the 30s for morning temperatures. So while you may not need a coat this morning, you may need one come Friday morning. Some of you may get well into the low 30s then. Now for the weekend, we are going to keep an eye on a system moving by then. Now in terms of rain chances, those aren't looking as impressive as they did before. Anything that we see for Saturday and Sunday right now looking pretty light, less than 1/4 inch of rainfall between the 2 days. That's how light it is. But we do see a better chance of some of those showers moving in for the second half of your Monday into Tuesday and Wednesday as well. And that midweek system could be the catalyst to some much colder air moving in, with highs for the end of next week only in the low to mid 50s. So really going to be seeing that significant cool down coming our way. Ladies.
Thank you. Well, now hitting 3 full weeks since the start of the government shutdown, another Senate vote failed to pass.
Senate lawmakers rejected the House-passed funding bill for the 11th time yesterday evening by a vote of 50 to 43. The measure needed 60 votes to advance. If passed, the legislation would have reopened the government until November 21st. Democratic Senator Catherine Cortez Masto of Nevada and Independent Senator Angus King of Maine broke rank to vote in favor of the short-term spending bill. Talks between the White House and Russia appear to be stalling.
Last week, President Donald Trump said he and Russian President Vladimir Putin agreed for their advisors to meet this week. That anticipated meeting between Secretary of State Marco Rubio and his Russian counterpart have been tabled. It's not clear why. One source says it's because Russia has not evolved its stance enough to reach an end to its war with Ukraine. It's not known if the delay will impact an anticipated summit between Trump and Putin in Budapest, Hungary next week.
A federal court has ruled that President Trump can deploy Oregon National Guard troops to Portland. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals ruled 2-1 in favor of the president. The Trump administration argued the troops are needed to help protect a federal immigration and customs enforcement facility. A small group of demonstrators has been gathering outside of the building for months, leading to occasional clashes with federal agents. We now have tourist video showing what the priceless jewels looked like inside that glass display case at the Paris Louvre Museum before they were stolen Sunday at the world-famous site.
And these artifacts date back to France's imperial history. They include the imperial crown of Empress Eugenie, which was reportedly dropped during the getaway. It was recovered outside the museum. Also, the tiara and the brooch of her. Officials say the thieves, wearing ski masks, spoke in to the Louvre using a crane to smash an upstairs window. They stole the jewels and escaped on motorbikes, and officials are still looking for them. Next year marks the 250th anniversary of America, and the Walt Disney Company has announced its plans to celebrate that. Starting on Veterans Day next month, Disney will begin featuring special programming and storytelling across its platforms. The company says it wants to spotlight the people and places that make the country unique. The celebration will culminate on the July 4th weekend with a 24-hour multi-platform broadcast. The live show will highlight events taking place across the country to mark America's birthday. It'll end with fireworks shows from Walt Disney World and Disneyland. That'll be fun. We'll be right back.
Governor Andy Beshear says a new reallocation of more than $9 million will pay to feed seniors relying on programs like Meals on Wheels. The funding ran out in September as the state was hit with a $305 million budget shortfall. Beshear explains the money in his administration found this time to restore the senior meal program was not routine or easy to do because of budget restrictions. Beshear also says the funding source they found won't be available in the future to programs that will still require support.
No Kentuckian should face hunger. And while I'm glad we found a temporary solution, we must ensure that we understand our people's needs, as well as the cost controls and procedures for the senior meal program to appropriately budget and run these programs in the future.
Meal deliveries were cut back in some parts of the state. In Jefferson County, Mayor Craig Greenberg pledged Metro government would set funding aside to keep serving nearly 900 seniors until the end of the year.
Well, today, not as chilly as it was yesterday, but still that didn't stop people from hitting the golf course on Monday morning for a great cause. Blessings in a Backpack hosted their 8th annual Golf Classic at Wildwood Country Club. Some children rely on school meals for their food, and Blessings steps in to make sure they have something to eat too over the weekend. The program relies on fundraisers like this to continue their work, and they're hoping to raise enough money to help every child in need.
For the last few years, we were only able to feed half of the population that needed our program. And this year we decided, you know what, we're just going to go all in. We're going to feed every child who needs us. And you know, that's what we're doing. And that's what we hope to accomplish today, is to raise enough money to do that.
Their goal was to raise $65,000 to support 400 JCPS students every weekend through the current school year. A Southern Indiana food pantry is seeing a rise in families in need.
The Center for Lay Ministries Food Pantry says they've served more than 1,500 new households this year. To help with the influx, Duke Energy awarded the organization $10,000 to help stock their shelves, with volunteers from the company helping to pack food boxes yesterday. With just over 2 months to go in the year, the food pantry has already served more new clients this year than in all of 2024. And with holidays right around the corner, they say Duke Energy's grant came at just the right time.
We'll see an increased need for people requesting food over the holidays, needing more support. We saw an increased need at the start of the school year with people needing more support. So there's just different times that we will be asked, you know, more people in the community will come in needing support at those times because of trying to meet other needs in their family.
The Center for Lay Ministries is open 5 days a week. It can be found on East Maple Street in Jeffersonville, Indiana. We'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning, I'm Shannon Kogan. We've now learned the name of the woman accused of causing a deadly crash in the Algonquin neighborhood. Errol Taylor is charged with vehicular homicide when under the influence of drugs. Police say she was driving a pickup that ran a stop sign and then hit a Mustang at the intersection of Lee Street and McCloskey Avenue. The driver of the Mustang died. His name has not yet been released. Taylor's expected in court this morning at 9. Let's go to meteorologist Tawana Andrew. Warmer start than yesterday.
Warmer start than yesterday, but our afternoon temperatures will end up exactly where we were yesterday afternoon. Now, right now, we are watching that cold front moving through our area. Some showers off towards our northeast, but mainly just talking about the clouds overhead. And they're making for a kind of spooky sunrise. Check out what we're seeing right now on the SkyTrack camera in Bardstown. That little strip of light with the clouds just locked in overhead. Yeah, kind of creepy way to start off the day, right? We're sitting in the 50s for most spots this morning, but once we get into the afternoon, especially as we get rid of those clouds, we are going to get those temperatures back into the mid to upper 60s for afternoon highs. Now, the other thing we'll watch for later on today will be the gusty winds, with more of those wind gusts between 25 and 35 miles per hour possible. We'll keep things on the breezy side for tomorrow, but colder then, with highs only hovering near 60 degrees, and we'll keep things chilly all the way into the upcoming weekend. Rob?
Tawana, thanks so much. Things looking pretty good right now. We are keeping our eyes on a one-car crash on Snyder, the north ramp from I-71 south. You see it up there in the corner of your screen. No reports of any injuries with that, but that is slowing down your morning commute in that area. Otherwise, things looking pretty good this morning out there. Your typical construction spots may slow you down, but otherwise, no major problems to report. We'll send it back to New York and more of the Today Show.
Good Tuesday morning to almost said Monday morning. Whew, yeah, we are past Monday. That's the good thing there. Moving on to Tuesday already, but another chilly morning to start your day. We have plenty of headlines to get to this morning. Shannon and I had the chance to sit down with the Louisville Metro Housing Authority Executive Director, talking about some of the big projects they're working on. So we have an update from them coming up in just a few minutes. But first, investigators are trying to figure out what led to an explosion that killed one person and sent two others to the hospital in Salem, Indiana. The Salem Fire Department says the explosion happened in a mobile home on Rainier Drive Monday morning. 3 people were inside. 2 were able to get out before firefighters arrived. A woman was found inside the home and later died. Her name hasn't been released yet. One of the victims hurt was taken to U of L Hospital. The other was treated at a nearby hospital and released. A Louisville man was arrested after allegedly using credit cards linked to Volunteers of America to buy a Dodge Charger. 36-year-old Timothy Rutledge is charged with fraud. An arrest report says he used 2 credit cards linked to the Volunteers of America. Police say Rutledge put a $4,000 down payment on a 2017 Dodge Charger using one of the cards earlier this month. Rutledge allegedly got the cards from Jessica Todd, who worked as a lead cook with Volunteers of America before she was fired. The report says the two have a child together. Todd is also facing charges in the case. A Jeffersonville police officer has been placed on leave after a drunk driving arrest in Harrison County. Officer Austin Schoen is a probationary patrol officer with Jeffersonville PD. He was hired back in February. JPD says Schoen was arrested early Sunday morning while off duty, accused of operating while intoxicated with a blood alcohol concentration of 0.15 or higher. He's now been placed on unpaid leave while criminal and internal investigations are being conducted. LMPD wants to hear feedback on its policies. They're releasing draft versions of department policies, including use of force, for public review and comment. Louisville police say everyone's voices matter when it comes to shaping policies. Those drafts will be available until November 3rd for public comment. You can submit on LMPD's website, and they say every comment submitted through the site will be reviewed and considered. LG&E and KU reached an agreement on its rate increase request. The companies say they need money to improve their infrastructure. KU residential electric customers could see their bills go up $9 per month. For LG&E residential electric customers, that increase would be around $5 a month, and gas customers could see an increase of about $8 a month. The Kentucky Public Service Commission still has to approve the rate increase, and if it's approved, the new rates will be implemented no earlier than January 1st of 2026. Changes could be coming to one of JCPS's newest schools. District leaders are considering adjustments to boundaries for Echo Trail Middle School to decrease overcrowding. It's in eastern Jefferson County. Under the plan, some students may be sent to Crosby Middle School. No final decisions have been made just yet, though. And JCPS is hosting information sessions for the community this week. So the next one will be hosted today in Eastern High School's multi-purpose room. That meeting will be from 6 to 7 o'clock, and details can be found over on JCPS's website. Today, you can help increase the Jefferson County blood supply. Louisville's EMS is hosting a drive at its headquarters on Eastmore Road. Blood drives help support their services and their pre-hospital blood program. Donors are encouraged to make appointments ahead of time, and that drive starts at 10 o'clock. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more headlines coming up in 2 minutes. The Louisville Metro Housing Authority says despite the federal government shutdown, its services continue to move forward. LMHA Executive Director Elizabeth Strojan sat down with us this morning to discuss the shutdown and how it's impacting her agency, plus the projects they're working on. Percent federally funded, but despite that, your agency is still able to complete that major project over at Beecher Terrace. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so about 13 years ago, we started resident engagement, meeting with people in the Russell neighborhood to redevelop the Beecher Terrace neighborhood, the Beecher Terrace community, and we're wrapping that project up. It's over a $200 million project. And on Tuesday, October 28th at 10 a.m., you all are welcome to come. We're having a community celebration to celebrate the completion of the Big Choice Neighborhoods grant.
That's great. And this is, I mean, it's a very pretty building.
It's gorgeous.
So different than what was there before.
That's right.
Yeah. What is your goal when you're doing these new projects?
Our goal is always safe, decent housing that low-income people can afford. And we believe that low-income housing really shouldn't look different than regular housing. The only difference is how it's financed.
And you currently have about 14,000 households that
we're
you're serving.
Yes.
That is huge. And I'm sure as you hear about the government shutdown now stretching into this third week, how will that impact services for the families that you serve?
We serve about 30,000 Louisvillians all throughout the county, and we're 90% federally funded. So naturally, people are very nervous. How will their housing assistance be impacted? But I want to let people know that as of right now, there are no impacts to our programs. We're able to pay landlords who are taking Section 8 vouchers. We're able to keep our developments up and running. We're able to pay staff. If that changes, if this continues for a very long time, we'll communicate to people directly. Please don't be nervous. Please don't believe what you're seeing from questionable sources on Facebook. We'll let you know. Visit our website, lmha1.org. We will send out communications on our official social media channels, and we'll send letters to people.
Okay, good.
And I was telling you, I drive past Dosker Manor every single day. I drive past, I see how big it is. You all are in the process of relocating residents. You have demolition, rebuilding, a lot going on there. Where do things stand right now, and how long is this project going to take you all?
It's going to take years, but we're making great progress. So when we started the relocation late last summer, we had over 500 residents. We have fewer than 100 residents remaining. And I'd like to let people know that as people are moving, we want to make sure they're set up for success. So we're partnering with Happy Home Furniture Bank to make sure people moving into better housing have the resources they need. They have furniture, they have kitchen supplies, etc. So if people are able to help donate supplies so we can set our residents up for success, we would really appreciate that. They can visit happyhomefb.org to see how they can donate.
And this is going to be huge, especially the demolition part.
Yes.
What will the new area look like? Will it look drastically different? We're not talking about those super high buildings anymore, right?
It's going to look drastically different. So when you look across the street from Dosker Manor, you see Liberty Green, which is a low-rise community. It will look like that. We're working with LDG Development to rebuild low-rise senior housing on the First Link site. That should be open in about 2028. Next year, we'll start demolition of Dosker Manor, and then we'll begin constructing new family housing on that property.
And how many families will be able to live there?
Hundreds. We'll still have hundreds. So when we say less density, it's still a lot of people, just fewer than the high rises we see now.
A big impact there with LMHA. Well, here's something you might not have known. Your nails can actually tell you a lot about your health. They can actually tell you about benign conditions that you may have. It can even give you a glimpse into your mental health. A family medicine physician at Cleveland Clinic mentioned nail changes can signal anything from a simple vitamin deficiency or injury to something more serious like anxiety or melanoma. She explains that nail biting linked to anxiety can cause brittle nails, while a dark vertical streak may be a sign of nail melanoma. For reference, healthy nails are typically smooth with a consistent color, nothing abnormal about them, but you can see in that picture right there, that vertical streak. And if you notice something unusual, be sure to mention it to your doctor along with those other symptoms you're experiencing.
The signs and symptoms of particular illnesses show up not only in your nail bed, but in other parts of your body too. So it's important to recognize that your nails, while they may signal some particular illness or condition, are not the whole picture.
So if you're someone like me and you wear nail polish all the time, make sure you're checking your nails in between coats to avoid missing any potential issues. Jeffersonville Staple has 3 major milestones coming up, and they're inviting people to come out for the sweet celebration. Shim's Confectionery was named the best candy store in America earlier this year. The owners, Warren and Jill Shim, are celebrating 35 years of owning and running the business, and they're about to pass the torch onto the 5th generation of candy makers. That's Steve Shepard, also known as Cousin Steve. So it's staying within the family. So with so much to celebrate there, Shimps is thanking the community with their support for all the 134 years that they've been operating. The public is invited to a celebration on Friday, November 7th at 10 a.m. Mayor Mike Moore and other local officials will be hosting a ribbon cutting. There will also be live music and free Red Hot samples. A portion of Spring Street will be closed for that event, and you can find all the details over on Shimps on their Facebook page. So a lot to celebrate, and they definitely deserve it. A $50,000 winning Powerball ticket was sold in Kentucky. Congrats to the lucky winner. That Powerball drawing was held on Saturday night. The lucky numbers were 3, 11, 27, 40, 58. The Powerball was 10. That winning ticket was sold online at KentuckyLottery.com. It's the second winning Powerball ticket sold online in less than a week. So if it's your ticket, make sure you sign the back of it and claim your prize at lottery headquarters. And also maybe send some money over to me too, because that must be a nice payday for you. Congrats to whoever won. Well, the city of Elizabethtown is moving forward with its plans to expand the regional airport there. Officials have acquired land near the airport to build a new runway. As Wave News reporter Fernando Garcia Franceschini explains, the arrival of companies like Blue Oval SK has the city looking for ways to meet the needs for more airport space.
Behind me, you can see one of several construction projects currently going on at the Elizabethtown Regional Airport. Board Chairman Carl Swope says it's part of a long-term plan to make sure the airport is meeting the needs of a city that's rapidly growing. Swope says addressing that growth and demand means an expansion of the airport terminal and the T-hangar at Addington Field. That's the construction you'll see if you go to the airport right now. But Swope says the airport also needs a new runway. For that, the city of Elizabethtown has purchased 220 acres right next door. Swope says the new runway would be 7,800 by 150 feet and would help support more traffic and larger planes.
We have a strategic plan to keep this airport viable, but not only viable, very effective for this region for the next 50 years. Our airport's been here since the early 80s. It's done a wonderful job in developing industry all around it. But as a result, we can't extend our current runway any further.
They would need approval from the FAA before moving forward with this project. Swope says a partnership with Fort Knox could also be in the near future. He says the new runway would allow them to deploy at this airport. Reporting in Elizabethtown, Fernando Garcia Franceschini, Wave News.
Well, turning now to sports, of course, we are still talking about that impressive performance by U of L on Friday night. And now officials from the Bobby Dodd Coach of the Year Foundation have named Louisville football coach Jeff Brom as the Dodd Trophy Coach of the Week. The award honors a football coach who led his team to a significant victory during the previous week. Brom earned that honor, rightfully so, after guiding Louisville to a 24-21 upset win over number 2 Miami on Friday night. That one even on the road, too. The victory marked Louisville's first road win against an AP top 2 opponent in the program history, and it matched the highest ranked opponent the Cardinals have ever defeated. Well earned. Congrats, Coach Brom. Tomorrow marks exactly 4 months since the Oklahoma City Thunder won the NBA Finals, and tonight they'll start their pursuit of 2 in a row. The NBA is back tonight, and it'll be right here on Wave and NBC. The company, which regularly broadcasted NBA games from 1990 to 2002, regained broadcast rights after reaching an 11-year agreement with the league last July. You can catch NBA games on NBC every Tuesday and Sunday nights. And as for tonight, there will be 2 games to kick off the new season. Starting at 7:30, the Houston Rockets travel to take on the Oklahoma City Thunder as they unveil their new championship banner. Then after that game, you can catch Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors travel to take on the Los Angeles Lakers, and that game will be at 10 o'clock. With players now with their national teams for the next week and a half, Racing Louisville players and their fans will have to wait until November 2nd to find out if they'll be making it to the playoffs. The suspension right there. But that time for the game has been set. It'll be at 5 o'clock at Lynn Family Stadium. There will be 5 other games that kick off at the same exact time, including another big game. That one's between North Carolina and Gotham. So keep a close eye on that game, because if Racing wins their game, they're guaranteed a spot in the playoffs. However, if they draw, Racing is in with a North Carolina draw or a loss. And if the ladies in lavender lose on the 2nd, the only way they'll clinch the playoffs is if North Carolina loses as well. So a lot needs to happen there, but we are crossing our fingers and cheering for them. Well, going back to football now, because before the Cards took the field against number 2 Miami, they had a little inspiration from the greatest of all time, a Louisville legend. Defensive backs coach Steve Ellis told the media yesterday morning that the night before the Miami game, the team watched the Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, the Thrilla in Manila fight. Many of the players said they'd actually never seen the fight, but they were inspired on Friday night.
If you watch that last drive of the game, those guys were saying, hey, man, it's round 15, Thrill in Manila. And I just think Coach English did an unbelievable job of delivering that to our players. And I think Ali, in the spirit he had, took us to get the victory.
So the Cards are back in action on Saturday at L&N Stadium. That game will be at 7:30 p.m. taking on Boston College, and the ACC Network will be there for their pregame show. It'll be nice to have them in town. All right, turning to UK now. After yet another heartbreaking loss last Saturday to Texas, UK has to put it all behind them. Get ready for the biggest rival in the SEC. That's Tennessee. Kentucky has lost 9 straight SEC games, which makes it even more important to let go of that last loss.
They're in good spirits and ready to go back to work. So, for me, it's the same. Disappointed in the outcome, but very much enthusiastic about getting back to work here this week.
Kickoff is set for 7:45 at Kroger Field, and that game will be on Saturday. Moving now to probably the hottest team in our area right now. I know a lot of people excited about IU football. They've moved up to number 2 in the country after blowing out Michigan State 38-13 this past Saturday. The Hoosiers are a perfect 7-0 and 4-0 in conference play. They welcome UCLA to Bloomington on Saturday. They've won 3 straight Big Ten games since firing their head coach. So interesting to see how that'll play out.
Very impressive football team, okay? And offensively, this team is rushing for 233 yards a game right now in their last 3 games, which would be against Penn State, Michigan State, and Maryland.
And if you're hoping to watch the Hoosiers, that game is set for noon. Well, here in Wave, we like to show you some of the good things that are happening in our community called What's Good. And we're highlighting a day the University of Louisville calls one of the most inspiring days of the entire school year. Raise Some L's is a day of raising money to support campus life, helping with everything from scholarships to students who need them the most, to scientific research to help kids with spinal injuries learn to walk again. And Wave News anchor Brian Schlonsky took a visit to campus yesterday and met a student who says that scholarship actually changed his life.
So right now I have military obligations, but when I get out, I'm looking for something, hopefully maybe back in Kentucky, potentially like a TQL on 4th Street.
From ROTC to working towards a marketing degree, University of Louisville senior Devin Dixon is driven to succeed.
It's helped me to maintain that attention specifically to school, which has allowed me to go for a minor as well.
But unlike millions of Americans, when Dixon graduates, he'll be debt-free. Along with his military commitment, he's the recipient of a prestigious scholarship given to students who achieve in the classroom and the community. Without that financial help,
it definitely would have affected me. I don't even know if I've been able to afford going here at U of L.
It's why days like this Tuesday are so important. It's the university's Raise Some L Day, when everyone from students to alumni to simply those who care about the future donate money for different U of L causes, like this year's Cardinal Commitment Grant Scholarship.
Generating research with children, there's not many people in the world who are doing that.
And sometimes the money goes to causes that are so much more important than most of us could ever imagine.
It takes children who are facing pediatric neurological issues, and they work with them through therapies.
Alexis Allen with U of L is talking about the COSAIR for Kids Center for Pediatric Neurorecovery. The center is also a focus of the donations this year, treating kids with spinal cord injuries and working with them to rehab, to recover, to walk again.
You see these students go from, they've been here for years and they went from not being able to walk, not being able to talk, to now you see them jumping, moving, running on treadmills and doing all the things that they couldn't before.
For Dixon, on the cusp of entering the world and achieving his dreams, it's a reminder to always be thankful.
It's bigger than us. It's something that can continue to expand beyond ourselves.
That is so awesome to see the effects right there and how they're playing out. Raise Some L begins today at 6:02 p.m. and it runs through midnight on Wednesday. And you're probably wondering why that 6:02 start time. It means that people can donate for a total of 1,798 minutes. And that's a nod to U of L's founding year, 1798. So if you'd like to donate, just visit raiseSomeL.org. An exciting announcement made yesterday. We've learned that Tyler Childers and the Lumineers will headline the 2026 Railbird Music Festival. The festival is set for June 6th and 7th at the Infield at Red Mile in Lexington. Tickets go on sale this Wednesday at noon, ranging from general admission tickets to VIP. They even have 2-day packages. More than 30 artists will perform for crowds at the iconic horse racetrack, and the festival will also include curated bourbon experiences. So, of course, got to make sure they got to get that nod to Kentucky in there with the bourbon. That's all the time we have here for Wave Sunrise Extra. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope you have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.